Good evening, everyone. So, Natalia, you're on mute. Our audience are coming in.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Very good.
Thank you. And welcome to our attendees. Can we check if they're able to send a chat? If you're able to send a chat, please let us know where you are joining from as we wait for the others to come in. Yes, they are here. They are from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Ajman. Ziad from Dubai. Hello, everyone. Sharjah. And we're requesting you all to follow our social media channels if you haven't done so. Oh, we have one from Tunisia. Tunisia, hello in Tunisia. How do you say hello in or good evening in Tunisia? Charleston.
Wow.
Natalia, we have from US.
Early morning.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Egypt.
Yeah. From China Petroleum, Abu Dhabi. Dubai.
Nice.
See the number of attendees in 2 minutes, Natalia, huh?
Yes, sure.
See the number of attendees in 2 minutes. Everyone, hello from New Zealand, Natalia.
From New Zealand. We are very international today. And obviously we are very happy for our local visitor, local guests today as well. We are a large chapter and a large network here. So that's understandable. And
hello from Morocco. We have one from Morocco.
The Philippines.
Hi. Magandang gabi, Pilipinas. Elvister, Pepito, hello. Manal from Morocco. So again, good afternoon. So it's a good morning from the US. Good afternoon and good evening to everyone joining. Oh, we have a few attendees from Morocco. Hey, Olumide, welcome from Nigeria. Joydeep from India. It's good to see attendees from the various parts of the world. Sudan, good evening. Perhaps you can say hi or hello or good evening, good afternoon in your language. Canada, Natalia, Canada.
Amazing. We are around the globe.
Yes. Okay, we have a question, early question here. How fast the PDUs from past webinar will be credited? 4 weeks. It has been answered by our friend Amir. Okay, we can wait for another 2 more minutes before we start, please. So while we are waiting for the rest to join, if you have not done so, we encourage you please to click and like our social media channels. From time to time, our friend Amir will, yes, he just popped it in here in the chat. So you will be notified whenever there are new posts on our channels. And also, we encourage you to look at our PMIUAE chapter events website, so you know the upcoming events and webinars for the chapter. Sham Bakhir, Irene and Natalia. So in Urdu, Sham Bakhir.
Sham Bakhir in Urdu.
Sham Bakhir. So is it good morning in Vancouver?
Must be late night in the Philippines right now.
Yes, actually it's 11 p.m. Thank you for joining us, even though it's very late. So yeah, good morning. Where is Danielle joining from? You say good morning. Anand Chavan. Okay, so I guess we can do with the introduction. It's 7 a.m. Vancouver Pacific time. Okay, so again, we welcome you all once more for this year's last webinar, actually of the year, for the PMI UAE chapter. It's entitled Stakeholder Engagement: Succeed in Projects by Building Relationships, Not Just Schedules. Our speaker tonight is Miss Natalia with the mayor. Yeah, did I say it right? Okay, my name is Irene Corpus, and I will be your moderator for tonight. But before I proceed on giving a full introduction of our speaker, allow me to give you a brief about the PMI UAE chapter, most useful for the first-time attendees, and even for our attendees who are not aware of the benefits, and a little background about the PMI UAE chapter. So I'll gonna share my screen right now. Yep, you see my screen now? Okay. So the PMI UAE chapter, the PMI Project Management Institute was founded in 1969 by a group of working project managers. And after 50 years, PMI is now the source and resource for all things about project management. It's one of the largest professional associations in the world. It offers training, accreditation, and there are various PMI communities in different countries and different regions. It issues globally recognized standards and credentials. It also sponsors and publishes research, thought leadership, and knowledge content. The PMI UAE chapter's vision is to empower and influence individuals with the innovative project economy principles to turn ideas into reality. And our mission is to disrupt and create value-driven opportunities to our chapter members and partners to become agile, innovative, and productive in the platform for the growth of project economy. The PMI UAE chapter is run by 100% volunteers. We have 3,300 plus active chapter members, and we are ranked among the top 5 chapters in the PMI EMEA region. Our activities we are all dependent on you in all our chapter activities. And we encourage you, those who haven't joined us, we have opportunities for volunteering. And we would like to make our chapter as interactive and as invigorating as possible. This is our PMI UAE chapter board. Our president is Mr. Adil Sultan, and the rest of the directors are here in this slide as well. You can see them, the whole board and the board of directors in the PMI UAE chapters also. In terms of the benefits, PMI membership and benefits include the digital access to the PMI library, including the standards and the PMBOK guide. If you're going to take some exams and certifications, you get 30% discount. You have access to PMI standards, PMI peaks, and career navigator at the PMIUAE.org. You will see that. There are various community access to projectmanagement.com. And you have exclusive members-only events access. There are also various tools and templates, publications, and reports shared on the website. As at the PMI UAE chapter, we have 4 pillars, which are the networking, learning and knowledge sharing, career growth, and events. We have diversified events and webinars, which means it can go beyond just project management. We have speakers who talk about emotional intelligence, artificial intelligence, etc. So please keep updated on the events at the PMI UAE chapter website. We also are introducing a new initiative for you. We have the Members Corner, where you can share thought leadership on project management related topics. We also have the Member Spotlight, a spotlight interview conversation on your project management experience. And we have Beyond Basics. It's a recorded interview with you on your experience and thoughts on project management, which will be published on our social media. So make use of these wonderful opportunities to share your thoughts and expertise with a wider project management fraternity. These are our collaboration partners. We have a whole list of them here, and thank you for them, of course. And for more info, follow us on our social media channels. We have the in LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube channel. Okay, so now I'm going back to the introduction of our speaker, and thank you for waiting and listening to us. Natalia will have an uninterrupted 45 to 50 minutes of presentation. She will also give us some Slido polls, so be ready with your scanners, QR scanners. She will deliver the webinar, and we encourage you to please post your questions in the Q&A box, and we will give you a heads up, Natalia, if we see more questions than the time would allow, okay? You can answer as much questions as possible, and to our attendees, you may interact also with your co-attendees by posting your thoughts on the chat, engage with one another. Okay, so now I know you are very eager to meet our speaker. Ms. Natalia is a project management consultant, change management practitioner, and an organizational coach. She helps businesses to achieve success faster and more effective by enhancing their strategies, elevating engagement, and creating momentum for innovation, transformation, and superior performance. Her expertise lies in strategic planning, organizational transformation, innovation management, sustainability, talent development, and efficiency improvement. Natalia has 18 years of experience of working and leading in high complex organization environment and is a frequent event speaker and podium discussion guest on topics such as performance acceleration and human potential enhancement. There's a lot more of achievements that Natalia can share with us, but we can't wait any longer. So ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from Natalia all about stakeholder engagement.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear Irene, for this wonderful introduction. Without further ado, I will share my screen and we jump directly into the topic. And again, you're welcome to interact through the chat, to post questions and your thoughts and experiences so we can all learn from each other. All right, let's go. There you go. As I've already been introduced, I'm not gonna talk a lot about it. I have spent many years as a professional full-time project manager. I have a lot of experience in that. Before I went to be an entrepreneur and help other project managers to have an easier life, a better and more enjoyable life as project managers. Also, currently I hold a position as a project manager, sustainability project manager with one of the UAE companies, where I help the organization to achieve their goals. Today, we will talk about stakeholder engagement, obviously, and we will stop on why stakeholder engagement is important. How can stakeholder engagement positively enhance and positively impact project results? And we will also talk about how we can best do in practice. I'm sure all of you, we all do stakeholder engagement in our daily interactions, but maybe we can find ways to enhance it and deliver even more value to our projects and to our organizations. All right. Oh, I knew I would forget it.
Hello, Jacob here.
Hi Jacob, this is Dale from Finance here. I just wanted to let you know on the quiet that you might need to speak to Anne on the help desk. She's very unhappy about the way your project is going.
Oh, well, thanks for letting me know, Dale. I'll speak to her soon. Hello, Jacob here.
Hi Jacob, it's Stephen here. I'm the GM's EA. I just wanted to let you know that Anne is extremely pleased with your progress to date.
Anne? And the help desk manager, Anne?
Yeah, she's been telling us how well you've been doing.
Oh, thanks for that. What the heck? I'm going to speak to Anne, whoever that is.
Hello, Anne speaking.
Hi, Anne. It's Jacob from Project Endeavour. I wanted to chat to you about how's it going.
How? I've never heard of you or your project. What do you have to do with the help desk?
Oh, excuse me. All right.
Let me show you how we do stuff around here. Actually, my department uses Monday.com, so I'm good. A work management tool? No, that's...
Sorry for that. I hope you can see my presentation. We are back. Just give me thumbs up, or Irene, let me know if there are any challenges.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah, we see.
Stakeholder engagement. If we only would know all our stakeholders and how they are doing, wouldn't be so great. And who the heck is Anne from the help desk? So I would like to ask you guys how you go about your stakeholder engagement and how actively do you engage with this PMI process. I'm sure every one of you know the interest influence grid, and that's something from the very basics. So most of us are PMP professionals or people working in project management and absolutely know this slide and this grid. What I would like to ask you, how many of you actually do this exercise in your real projects? Okay, so we are here more than 100 people. We are a large sample. So let's just engage and see whether you actually use this process and whether you use this process or maybe you use something different. Okay, so please scan it and we will see and it's very anonymous, so don't worry about exposing yourself in a way you would not like to. It's for statistics and to see how actually the processes are being used in real world. Okay, we have 3 votes. I'm sure we can do more. Some people are using different frameworks. So if you would like, you're encouraged to share it in the chat so everybody can learn, and maybe we can learn different frameworks. Maybe some of them are interesting or more elaborate or... All right. I would like you to vote on it, all of you, so we can see after that how well the processes are actually being used in real life. Okay, so I hope everyone had scanned the Slido and you can engage. 14 people out of 100, it's 14%, so keep going. And in the meanwhile, I will share with you that I did use this framework in one of my projects. Well, I do use them in many projects. I don't always use them in this very, formal way. I would say it's like when you start cooking and you're cooking with a recipe, you're always following the ingredients in the recipe, right? So when you start as a young or newly certified project manager, you do the grid or you do the many other templates, like schedules and planning and milestones and everything, and then later when you become more comfortable, you can choose and pick whichever you would like. And with the stakeholder engagement matrix, I see it's a little bit different to other processes, like, for example, a scope or milestones or quality management or risk register. Why? Maybe someone can guess why. We'll get to it in a bit. All right. I see that about 2/3, consistently 2/3, are using this influence interest grid, and that's encouraging. Keep voting. We will maybe come back to that later, or I can share with you the results after. All right. So this is the real example of my real project that I have worked long time ago on, and I performed this matrix. And I also, as you see, there's a third dimension. It's the potential of conflict, right? So if someone is very interested, he may be interested in a very positive and a very negative way, and that can be detrimental to the project. I did not only draw these little dots on the grid, I did a very elaborate analysis. And so these are some of the actions that I was planning to do. So I wanted to move some stakeholders to at least more interest, right? Especially the powerful ones. I wanted them to be engaged in a positive way with us. I wanted them to be engaged to begin with, because stakeholders who are engaged, they can leverage, they can communicate within the organization. You can create alliances with them, and you can achieve more for your project if you increase the interest. That was my strategy, and it worked well with very specific actions that I have put down. Before we go further, one more thing that I would like to learn from you guys is, once you do those 70%, let's see how many people. Okay, so 74% are using this interest influence grid. So I would like to ask you, what do you do with this analysis? Do you post it in, or is it part of your project reporting? Is it part of your internal tools that you discuss with your team? Do you do it just for yourself? Do you share it with the rest of the project documentation? I'm very, very curious about it, because I give a few moments until people start responding, because I'm really curious how you guys are doing. And I will share with you how I'm doing and what I did with the analysis that I just shared with you, which was a very detailed analysis. It helps in communication planning, but do you share it? Do you share it publicly, or do you keep it with on your personal computer, or do you share it with your core team, or do you report it, or do you put it towards lessons learned at the end of the project? Is it part of your official documents that you need to file at the end of the project? How is it done in your organization? If you guys have a well-organized PMO organization, is it part of the processes that you have to put up? Okay, please go ahead. Stakeholders communication plan, do you share? Not share. Communication plan shared in the lessons learned. Look at that. Share with the team, share with the project team. Unofficial, keep it personal. Share with very limited team members. Thank you guys for those who are sharing. That was also refined and shared with public. Original back to given to PMO official documents. Wow, they're official documents. So thanks for sharing. I didn't share it with anyone. I only did it for myself. I will tell later why I did it for myself. It was a very struggled project. But I did it only for myself. And I do not think, it's my personal opinion, that it should be part of the PMO, because it should be personal, or it should be within the core team. That team assesses the stakeholders and tries to not to manipulate, but to have real, authentic and views that can help to improve stakeholder relationship. I mean, you cannot write that someone is a jerk or someone is sabotaging the work of other people, and we have to do something about it, right? So if I think that if you write something as an official document, you can never be as authentic in your stakeholder analysis as you would like to be when discussing it with a trusted team. Okay, but I'm looking forward to learning from you with your inputs. So thank you so much. Okay. Stakeholder engagement used to be one process, well, one group of processes until PMBOK 7, and it entered the project management body of knowledge not at the very first instance. And within PMBOK 8, I'm sure you know this slide and this representation, but what I would like to draw your attention and our all attention to in this view is that stakeholder engagement, or people that we are dealing with within the organization, is not part of one process, is not an exercise that we do just to tick a box or put a document on the shared drive. It's something that can really enhance value. And we are talking in PMBOK 8, we are talking a lot about value. We are talking a lot about behaviors. We are talking a lot about complexities. And all these things, they are not about, of course, they are about processes. And of course, we have our organizational structures. And of course, we have our PMO governance. But it's, on the one hand side, it's people who are delivering these things. And on the other hand side, there are people who are benefiting from these things. And all of them are stakeholders. And if I look at this picture, I can hardly find any aspect of it that does not have to do with stakeholders or with people management. Okay. All right. I give you a little insight on the project that I have shared the example of. It was my first project as a project management professional. I had my training, and I was very excited to do the schedules, to do the risk assessments, to engage the team, to distribute the working packages, and to successfully accomplish the project goals. And it did not work very well, even though I had the best processes in place, because at some point people did not engage with the project. Okay, so that was, I started working on stakeholder analysis because I wanted to understand how it all fits together. Okay, back to people. So anyone fan of Tom DeMarco? Anyone knows Tom DeMarco? He has written this book, Peopleware, and originally the book was published in 1987. Since then it was published again in 1999 and 2016, enhanced and worked deeper. And the main idea of this book is that projects fail not because of technical reasons, but because of social reasons. It always has to do with people. Either people do not and work best in the best way together, or there are misunderstandings, or there are different interests, or whatnot. And peopleware is like software, but with people. And he talks about technical projects and says that they do not fail because of technical reasons. So it's not only for technical projects, but for other projects, it's even more so. The human element is what drives or stops the project from being successful. Very interesting book if anyone is interested. Maybe something for the end of the year read. Okay, I know you all know this picture. I would, from the project management certification, and it's a large, I even enhanced, I put some more stakeholders that I could have think of just to understand what a large universe of stakeholders is that we are looking at. And I would like to stop in particular at a few of them. So for example, project sponsor. Project sponsor is, in my opinion, is the most important stakeholder to be there. And that stakeholder has to have very high and very positive interest, because that person is the one that can leverage project beyond the project manager, right? Can elevate it within the organization. If you do not have a strong project sponsor, then the question arises, do we really need the project? If there is no one from organizational management, from high-level management, who really wants this project to succeed, if this person is not interested in that, if this person does not exist, or if this person is only assigned just because it's a tick of the box exercise, there is a very high chance that the project will not be successful. Employees, there are many employees that we don't think that they are direct stakeholders, but some of them are very, very, very important. One example that I would like to give you is, for example, a secretary, assistant of your project sponsor or of your CEO, you know. That person can help you open the doors. And that person is someone that if you ignore, you leave potential for better communication, better engagement, and better stakeholder relationship just laying there around. Another example, there are all kinds of intermediaries there that can help you if you engage them, or they can leave a hole that you would wonder how you can fill it. And I have an example from a very recent workshop that I have been doing as an organizational coach. And there was an intermediary, there was an event organization company between us, the coaches, and the stakeholder and the client. And that event organization company did not really understand the needs of the client, of course, because it's not their competency, right? They were supposed to organize, but because they were in the middle and they wanted to coordinate, it was the first engagement with this client of us. So they really wanted to make sure everything goes well, because they did not understand the requirements. The requirements kept changing daily until the very last day before the event. So for us, it was very important to build good communication, good relationship to this event company so that we can access the client directly. And that was the only way how we could finally get into the requirements what the client actually wanted. Okay. Another example is community groups. In different countries, it can be really different, and you really, you know, like especially in I used to work in Europe, in Germany, and I would like to share with you one example of Hamburg bid for the Olympic in 2024. So Hamburg has bid for Olympic 2024 in 2015, and this bid was voted negatively by the public. Okay, so the event did not happen. But what happened, and I have listened to a keynote, to a presentation of the project manager. He's a very well-known project manager for large projects in Germany, a good one, because Germany is not known for managing large projects well. They have spent 10 million euro on this campaign, and the vote came up as negative. And you might think, okay, they did not engage with the public very well. That's why the vote came out as negative. But no, the project actually had engaged with the public, and it actually did represent the true opinion of the public. And should there have been more lobby against or for the Olympics, that would be very stressful after that, and there will be a lot of No Olympia campaign in Germany, and all kinds of other blaming the politicians. The politicians in Germany, they want to the people to be happy because they want to be re-elected. So Klaus Greve is his name, the project manager. What he said by investing 10 million euro, we have saved more than 100 million euro of wasted resources and wasted effort. So it's very important to engage with all kinds of stakeholders. And again, it's not for the exercise, but you would like to sit at the beginning of the project or even continuously and find out how you can who are your important stakeholders and how you can engage them. All right. So back to my struggled project. Okay, P0849. I will remember this project forever. What was happening? I kept my schedules and I kept my milestones and I kept my Gantt analysis and I kept engaging with the weekly reporting. And in that organization, it was a German bank. We had a very good project management organization that I had to report every month. We had to report in person on the milestones and everything. And the project was not going well. Even though I did all the processes very diligently. I was a new project manager. It was very important to me to be very good in this particular job, and I engaged everywhere. But things were not happening. The internal team, I was fine with the consultants. Consultants did everything because they wanted to get paid. But within the internal team, approvals would not be delivered. The tool that we have created, it was supposed to be tested, but it was not tested because people just did not care for testing it. They did not understand the tool. They did not want to read the manuals. We were not receiving the input from them that we were that we needed. No one was reviewing the deliverables. It was a catastrophe. I was struggling so badly. My project was turning from red to more red, more and red, and it was very, very deep in, below the schedule, and it was a very troubled project. And I did not find a way out. I could not. I talked to my boss. I talked to within the project management organization, the PMO people. I had a co-project manager within the organizational department that were doing this project, and I was not coming forward. And I would go to my office and I would cry from despair because I could not get this project to work. Okay. And at that time, I asked my boss to relieve me from that project. I said, can you please take me out of that project and put someone else? And he said, no, you have to struggle. The problem was that the department was toxic and all of my colleagues knew, and no one wanted to go to lead that project, but I was new and I was ambitious. And within my ambition, I really wanted to succeed. And somewhere I just missed something that was within the people and not within the processes and not within the schedule. I went to my boss, and I told him that I'm stuck. I do not know what to do. And he did not want to relieve me from the project. And the only thing that I was able to negotiate with him was a coach. So I got engaged with a project management coach, someone from outside of our organization who was supposed to help me through this project. And I can talk about project management coaching, but that would probably a different conversation, also a very, maybe a topic for a different webinar. But when I started working with a project management coach, the first thing that he told me, he said, Natalia, what's up with your stakeholder engagement? I said, well, I have the matrix. Do you want to see the matrix? And he saw the matrix and he said, well, it's a nice matrix. How does it help you? I said, well, I don't know. Okay. So, and then he introduced to me this model that I would like to introduce to you that helped me in that project. I will, for those of you who stay till the end, I will share how I came out of this project and how I learned lessons for life and how I never ever got into a situation like that again. Okay. All right. But now to the model. So the influence model is the model from the book Influence Without Authority by Alan Cohen and David Bradford. And again, also this book is already in its third publication. It's quite a classic book. And it consists of 6 steps. Also, for those of you who are interested, we are doing workshops, interactive on-site or even virtual workshops to help you to engage with this model and to go through it for your personal challenges. In today's webinar, I will only share with you, explain to you how this model works in theory, or how you can engage with this model. Okay, so it has 6 steps. Assume everyone's potential allies, clarify your own goals and priorities, diagnose the world of the stakeholders, of the other people, identify relevant currencies, how you can trade with those people, and build relationships. And then you can influence through give and take. Usually within projects, and that was the case in my project, we do not have the direct authority about other people. We cannot tell them you do this, otherwise I'm gonna fire you, right? It's unfair to project managers because sometimes we really need to get things done, and we cannot go and explain everyone why something is important or why something is needed. But that's our life, and we have to find ways to go about it. Okay, so let's go a little bit in more details through each of the steps. So the first one is assume everyone is potential allies. How do we do that, right? We don't really have to go through this model with people that we are collaborating well with. So we take the people that we are stuck, people who are uncooperative, people who are destructive, people who are, I don't know, have different intentions. And we do want to assume that they are potential allies, that there can be collaboration. And this is actually the hardest step, because you cannot lie on that. You cannot go to the person and say, well, I really want, to trade with you, because human psychology is such that we see the flaw. We see that it's not authentic, right? So you really want to sit down and think positively about this person. Find the way to, I don't know, maybe justify that person's behavior. Maybe look for reasons why that person is acting like that. Maybe that person does not have the skills. Maybe that person has conflicting priorities. Maybe that person has, I don't know, any other reasons. But you would like to assume that that person, deep inside them, they do have positive intentions and they do want this project to succeed. Make it an assumption. If you do not have proof for that in this very first element, make it as an assumption. Okay? Second, clarify your own goals and priorities. And usually we neglect it because we are driven, we have our targets, we have our project goals, and we do not engage with what is really important to us in this role as a project manager, right? We don't, sometimes, maybe you do, but sometimes people do not think in terms of what's more important, what's less important, where I can make trade-offs, where I can, is it about this task or is it about relationship? Am I working short-term and I only need this, whatever, input by the end of the week? Or am I looking to developing a deeper relationship or more collaborative relationship with the stakeholder that I can leverage upon? Because with good relationships, obviously, the entire thing becomes a lot easier, okay? And I have listed here a few of not good goals, like which goals would you be looking for? So a goal of getting rid of someone is not a very good goal. It's not gonna help to achieve your project success, right? So obviously you think of your project success, but you think of your project success being being the higher goal of the organization. It's not your personal goal. It's not about you as a person. It's not about you looking good in front of management and someone else, for that matter, looking bad in front of management. It's not about you paying back someone who was not cooperative or who put you on the spot or who did something, whatever, long time ago. It's not for you to prove your point, to show that you had the right insight or you anticipated the risk or whatever. No, it's about achieving the project objective as the organization, right? So that would be the good goals. Project success. How can we together achieve project success? How can we increase customer satisfaction? How can we deliver more value? How can we improve efficiency, right? So these goals become non-personal. They have nothing to do with your view of the world or with your maybe beliefs or maybe your perceptions or maybe your even personal ambitions. Of course, you don't want to hurt any of your, position in the organization. But if you think in terms of organization, of the true goal and the true value behind it and not your personal in this moment, that's easier to actually find compromises, okay? So once we have that, we go and we diagnose the world of the other person. I have already shared a little bit. There are different aspects. That person is not only someone who has to deliver you whatever you need today, right? The input. That person has the whole inner world, and we know our inner world, and we act with the knowing of, okay, that was my expectation, that was my anger, that was my whatever. But when the other people, we do not know their inner world. We only see how they act, and we judge them based on their action. But if you try to step behind that curtain and actually think how that person, what drives that person, what are their expectations? Are they happy in their position? Are they secure? Do they feel confident in their position? Are they able to make their own decisions within how to deliver it, or how to contribute to this project? How are they measured? How do they want to look in front of their management? What's important to them, right? So once you evaluate this, and this is also something that I did on selected stakeholders, just to understand where were the bottlenecks. And it really helped if you really take time and you really go through it and try to understand the drivers of that other person. Okay, so once you do that, you can come up with currencies. And currencies is something that when you go and you trade and you want something from that other person within the project context, you have something to offer, right? And often project manager says, well, I have nothing to offer because I don't pay them. I don't sign up their vacation applications. I don't promote them. So I do not have anything that I can back. But here there are 5 aspects of currencies, how you can pay people, right? So for example, everyone would be susceptible to the currency of gratitude, of involvement, of looking good, maybe in front of colleagues, maybe in front of management. People are usually very busy, you know, like if you do understand why people are not delivering, they're busy. Maybe you can offer them something. Maybe you can say, okay, maybe I can offer you my assistant to help you with a task so that you have some free time to engage with it, okay? So once you do that, once you have established your relationships, or once you have established the currencies, you can go on and start building relationships. And relationships you do not build, obviously, when you need something from the person. Hopefully not, because then it becomes transactional. And again, our human psychology is not gonna let us be tricked by this simple strategy. So you really want to build authentic relationships based on understanding and based on involvement. Whenever I start projects now, I make a list of most important stakeholders, and I go to them and I have a one-on-one with them just to understand what kind of people they are, what their expectations, what drives them, and also so they can get to know me. So whenever my emails come to them, it's not just a name, but that's a face and personality and a person towards it. Okay. So once all this in place, that's where you can start making your exchanges. And there are different strategies. It can be very straightforward. I have something that you need, and I need something from you, and we exchange. I give you something that you didn't even think you need, right? And I don't know, maybe access to a tool or access to a person. I can introduce you to someone, right? That you did not even expect that I can do that. So that would be a favor. I can help you maybe outside of work. Maybe I can engage you on a hobby, you know? So it's really, you can really explore once you understand how person work together, okay? And that's what helps to build successful relationships. And once we have successful relationships, it's not about stakeholder management anymore, but it's about working from human to human and with people around us. Okay? So that's to the model. the final slide, it's always about our self-awareness. The more we understand ourselves, the better we can understand other people. I sense that we are almost out of time. I will share how the project, the Trouble Project P0849 ended. I did not find the ways to engage with a team that was sabotaging the project, but I did understand their drivers. They did not want that project. They only wanted the budget. They did not want to spend that budget on the project. They did not want to have the deliverables of the project, and they did not want to have me as their project manager. The problem was the PMO organization would not let me out of this project because by not delivering the project, it was a software that was not plugged. So there was not, it was not connected to the main application, and that was an operational risk. And for this reason, PMO would not let me out of this project. So what I have done, I have created a good relationship with my project management PMO coordinator, and I talked him into letting me close the project with risks. I said, I will write up all the risks. I will make sure that the department signs off all the risks, that they do accept all the risks. And I close this project and I go on and I live my life and I lead other projects. And he did that. And 1 year later, that was a huge finding from internal audit on exact same thing. And that person has lost his job because he was found guilty for not closing the loophole. And I have learned so much about building relationships, about understanding people's intentions and motivations, and obviously have taken it forward. Thank you so much. That's all that I had to share with you today. I hope you have learned or found it valuable with the model that I have shared, and also with the personal experience, why project management, why stakeholder engagement within project management can really make your life enjoyable, easy, and project successful. Thank you very much. If you have any questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Natalia. That was an exciting and interesting presentation. And also, thank you very much for sharing your maybe nightmare.
Oh, yes.
It looks like it was a nightmare. I put on the chat. It's a nightmare. It's like you were still new there and they already wanted you to fail. So this is how I see it. I have before I read on the questions, I have a question by myself. You mentioned there's the first question on the Slido is, what do we do with the stakeholder engagement or stakeholder analysis? No? And you said you keep it to yourself, right?
If you have a core team, right, that you can share it, that's the best way. Okay, so you have people that your close stakeholders within your core team. In my organization back at that time, we had 2 project leaders. So again, it was a very, I thought it was a very good rule for the organizational PMO, because we had one project manager who knew project management methodology, and the other project leader was someone who was from the department, who was the subject matter expert on whatever we were doing. Okay, so if this couple works well together, that's where they would share it, right? If you have close stakeholders, because obviously people have different perspectives and people have different positions there.
Yes.
So you can keep something. Like if I'm working with you, Irene, I would you are my stakeholder. You know, I don't want to put how I see Irene and I discuss with her how I make Irene more engaging in the project and how I see which kind of currencies Irene is more susceptible to. I'm going to praise her in front of the management. No, I don't want that you read this, right? But I do want that you and I discuss our strategies for the larger circle of stakeholders.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, because I thought it's like really it is not contained. It is contained within you, and not to be shared, no? Because this is a very good, let's say, tool to help the team better understand and how to manage the stakeholders. That's why for me, it is something to be shared. Otherwise, it's like, how can you even engage with your team who are also stakeholders if you're not going to share it? So thank you very much for explaining that. We have one question from Imad Hawidi. What if you identify a stakeholder as a destructive and with bad intentions only? But in order to clear that, you would need to go through a heated confrontation. You know, it's like the first step you said is assume everyone is a potential ally. And this Imad is saying is there are enemies already even before you start. So how do you handle that?
So if you see someone as an enemy, there is no way you can create effective collaboration with that person. My enemy in that project was my boss. I hated the guy. I hated him, absolutely, because he put me in this stupid position and he would not let me out. But through this model, I found him as a potential ally, and I found a way to engage with him. Well, first of all, I found that he's open to pay for my project management coaching.
Yes.
Right. So that's what I went and I asked him, even though I hated the guy, I could not stand him. I have understood that in his position, he is not capable to hold my back. He's not capable. He's from his, I don't know, psychological, I cannot expect it from him. It's very frustrating, but nevertheless, once you see it as a fact, you start finding strategies how to find someone who can influence the stakeholder and build that relationship.
Okay. Yeah, we have we'll manage the time. We have 6 questions here. Okay. Team fails 3 times. This is from Beniel. Team fails 3 times as PM. I know team. Okay, sorry. Team fails 3 times. As a PM, I know team will fail for the 4th time. Still how to motivate.
There you go. So with this team, for example, it's very difficult to do stakeholder engagement document and assessment together with the team if the team is dysfunctional, right? So here you as a project manager, again, this is your team, you say they have failed 3 times. Why did they fail? What were the reasons? Are the reasons understood, well understood? Are they understood to you as a project manager? You say, I know they will fail for the 4th time. If you know that, is there anything you can do about it?
Yeah.
And you always can do something about it. Always,
yes,
always.
always. Yeah, agree. And this is from Mutu. Projects do fail due to technical reasons as well. Guess in your statistics you mentioned it. No, the quote from one of the author. The project failure is mostly because of social or people, no? So Mutu is saying projects do fail due to technical reasons as well. Is there any statistics of how much % of projects fail due to social reasons?
I mean, you will not identify every social reason for statistics, right? You cannot collect the people because you say, for example, let's take some examples of why projects fail for technical reasons. Project fail, like my project, that one, it failed because of technical reasons, because the new software could not communicate with the internal software of the organization. That was a technical reason.
The integration, you mean?
The integration did not work out. They didn't finish the integration. That was the technical reason why it failed. But behind the technical reason was poor integration, poor testing, and poor escalation mechanisms, you know, and there could be more. So there would be risk management, and of course there's always possibility that something that you did everything in the right way and things still fail.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Always. You have the forces of nature. I mean, the house could have burned down. It's not even a technical reason, you know. So it's not like everything will be successful in the ideal world where people work together. No. But in the ideal world where people work together, the damage of any kind of failure will be smaller because people will be looking for better ways to close down the failure or to learn for the next time or to still find a solution in any way, right? So I do agree. I'm not saying that projects never ever would fail for other reasons than social. That's not the case.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. From Vijayan, how often the stakeholder engagement should be revisited during the project execution? Because the way the stakeholders engage with you can vary, no? From the start, they may be resistant, but towards the middle or even towards the end, you feel like they're more on cooperating with you so much. So how often should you visit the stakeholder engagement?
As often as needed, right? It's always up to, I mean, it's not the exercise. Once again, it's not the exercise that you would like to have done and tick the box. As many of those, you know, like even risk management, even planning, even quality management, even, you know, all the processes, they have to be revisited, but as soon as as needed. If you have a small project team and you work with people on a daily basis, it's not about updating your template. If everything works well and you do not have challenges, you can look for potential, you know, like how I can better engage that stakeholder. But again, this process, as well as any other processes, they should be done by a team as often as needed.
Yes.
But not for the sake of the ticking the box.
Not just for a tick box, no. It's a part of the continuous process. Like, you know, they say that in project, it's still a cycle of PDCA. Even if it is a project that has a start and an end, that PDCA happens actually within that cycle of the project management. So from Shamil, how would you manage the stakeholders in a remote project? What is your strategy for engaging and managing the stakeholders?
Well, basically the same. The challenge with remote stakeholders is that you do not see them, right? And you do not have the opportunity to just bump into them in the coffee kitchen, or just run around and say hi, or to speak about, I don't know, how they spent last evening or the weekend. But it's not different in building relationship to them, right? So you have to create moments of building relationship. As I'm saying, in my current project, there were stakeholders that I have never seen in real life. But the first week I came, I went to my supervisor. I said, which people are important? And she told me, she's given me the list. And I immediately went and I scheduled calls with them, which every one of them, so I know them. So the first one, whenever I write them the first email that I need something from them, that's already a face and not only the email address.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. I agree with you when you said, and I like this, when you said you meet them one-to-one so that they know you and you know them, so that your name is not just a name in their inbox. It is something that they will open and communicate. No?
Of course.
Thank you.
And then also for the team. I mean, if you're a project team lead, you would like people in the team to get to know each other. So you can do it in a virtual meeting. You can encourage them to have their one-on-ones. With technology, sometimes it's even easier, because you say, okay, we do now random breakout rooms of 2, and you have to spend the next 5 minutes listening and speaking to this person that you see for the first time online.
Yeah, great. And there's an anonymous attendee here. Question: stakeholder engagement with some of the customers are normally very difficult, and they can be toxic sometimes. But we deal with them constantly. While it is sometimes easy to deal with SH within organization, stakeholder engagement with customers seems very tiresome. So any specific advice or tips in dealing with them?
Still the same. I mean, we can go back to the model. It's understanding what the customers want and why they are toxic, right? Yeah. Is it the service? Could be. Is it the channels? Is it the approach? Is it the product? What is it that they do not like?
But I think the challenge here, as I can see, when you say customers, they are delivering. Customers are stakeholders, of course. But the challenge that I can see here, if I am correct, okay, customers are actually in the operations. Customers of a live product or of a live service. Then that I would find it as a challenge, because sometimes this irate or angry customer can only come to me once. And then I can communicate, etc. And then tomorrow an hour after, it's another customer, but with the same problem. So if I understand the question of Mr. Anonymous or Miss Anonymous, this is a situation in a live or operational environment. I can say, correct me, Natalia, if I'm wrong, it would be difficult for me to apply Natalia's advice in your situation, because it's not the cycle of a project management, let's say, project that has start and end, and I have a continuous interaction with same stakeholders. In your case, it's customer. I may just meet them once over the phone, and then I will not hear from them again. So I don't know if that's the situation.
So
yeah,
one thing is that it's an external customer, as I understand, right? It's not the company.
This is my understanding, yeah, from them, yeah.
And it's not one customer; it's a group of customers.
Yes.
They are for some reason angry, and they still have to take your service or whatever, and they don't find that service good. And of course, as a call center representative, for example, or a customer facing employee, you cannot really do something there, but there might be something that needs to change with something, with service delivery,
yeah,
with
the
listening,
service
with
the
matching,
process,
you know,
maybe process as well.
Always, especially if it's repetitive.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. From Mohammed, how can I handle or neutralize a bad intention coming from a strong sponsor? This is a very good question. So, yeah. So it's obvious the sponsor himself has bad intentions. So how do you handle this? And sponsor is very important. Also, you mentioned in your slide, project should have a sponsor. We know that a project always should have a sponsor. So
why is the first thing is to understand why is the sponsor not happy?
Correct, right? No? Maybe
so
one yeah. Maybe sorry. One of the things that you mentioned, the sponsor himself in your example project that you said, he doesn't like the project in the first place. Maybe like that.
Don't make him happy. But if you understand where this, lack of interest is coming from, then you can deal with it. It's always easy. I mean, you cannot always break through the wall, but you can walk around, or you can find different strategies, or there was another project that I had. I started the project, and it was a very important project, but it started with a very small budget, and it did not have the visibility within the organization, because the sponsor did not understand how important this project is. So we never would communicate to someone who can give us more budget, because this sponsor was just, he said, no, it's a small project. You just have to finish it by the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
So I started looking for people around the organization in our reporting circles. I engaged people. I said, I want your boss to be in the next meeting with us. Not because I want to put you on the spot, but because I think that's interesting. And here are my arguments why I think so.
And we're running out of time, and I will just throw one question, please, Natalia, if you can please accommodate this from Ahmed Omer. How this interest or impact grid can be applied when the culture barriers may have big influence on the project success? Very valid question. There are, cultural barriers, difference that can impact the project.
Cultural. I'm sorry to disappoint you. There is no answer to how you as an individual project manager can change the culture. You can adapt, or you can leave the culture, but as individual, you can do your best, right? You still can do your best in every situation. But if you're part of the toxic culture, it's also about your own sanity, about your own, long-term goals. Look, I left that company. I didn't like the culture there. I left on my terms. I didn't leave because I must in that project. I stayed there for another year, and I left after that.
Yeah, okay. It's your emotional and mental state first, no? Take care of that before anything else, okay? My emotion is more important than the project success. Okay. So thank you very much, Natalia, for gracing us this webinar. Indeed, a very interesting topic and very engaging attendees as well. I apologize for the other questions which we were not able to answer. We're running out of time. Again, this webinar will be published at the PMI UAE Chapter's YouTube channel in about 2 weeks. For our upcoming webinars, please visit the PMI UAE Chapter's events page. And as we close this webinar tonight, I would like to thank you all for your participation. As always, the success of every PMI chapter event, whether virtual or face-to-face, is through the collaboration of all volunteering teams. And this includes our colleagues from marketing, membership, outreach, volunteering, finance, and governance team. Until our next webinar, together with my events colleagues supporting you all, behind the camera, Amir and Parvez, and Monica Supo, and on behalf of our project director of events, Bavin Lad, this is Irene Corpus, wishing you all a pleasant evening. And since this is the last webinar for the year 2023, here's also wishing you happy holidays and happy new year. Irene Corpus here, signing off. Good night.